Good afternoon, Sienna people out there on YouTube. This is Jason from beautiful February day in California, 2015. This is the sliding door panel from my 2005 Toyota Sienna XLE, and I just got it off earlier. I'm going to take a look at the sliding door in a moment here with you, but one thing you can do is take off your sliding door panel and blast off all those spilled drinks from your kids, and give it a little wipe down with paper towel and hose it off. Alright, here's our car on the inside. I just had two of the motors go out a couple years ago. I wish I'd known this sooner about replacing the little servo motor on the inside of the actuator assembly. Cool. So here's my sliding door from last night that I fixed. Here's my button up here. Oh, hang on, I gotta go back under here. There's a little on-off switch for the door slider under your steering wheel. So turn off your door slider when you're working so that you can manually open and close your door. I'm gonna turn that back on. There we go. So post button, top button. There's my automatic slider that went out a couple weeks ago, and it's working properly. I pulled that shade back up because I did spray down that panel and give it a wipe down, all the Jamba Juice and whatever kid stuff spilled on it. So just to air out that shade. But I want to roll that out, that's a tip for you. And over here is my Star Wars droid door. And I'm going to do this one by the post button down here. You reach down. This wasn't working for the past couple years or so, give or take, and here we go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So what's happening is, like you've seen in another video, thank you to the other video posters for the Toyota Sienna door actuator fix, I actually went in and changed the motor inside the actuator housing. So I'm going to press my button here. Here's a lock switch, on, locked, unlocked. Okay, so here is how it goes. Just like it should. That's awesome. It hasn't worked for 2 years. I'm so happy. So I'll get some of the details for you and some of the tips while you take this apart your own and attempt this. And then also lots of awesome advice and information on the Toyota Sienna Nation chat forums. And I ordered a couple of these from a company called DigiKey, suggested, digikey.com. And I got these motors. The part number is right there, P14346-ND, right on their website. And as you can see, it's this little motor. It's in my hand, and it's the kind here for some models, not all, but for I know for the 2005 Sienna and probably a couple other years around it. But you want to research carefully to get this one. When you know it's here you go. And there's a little piece, a plastic piece. It's kind of spirally. It slips onto this D-shaped rotor attachment here. So the actuator or the automatic door that you do from your key fob is a part of this, and it's sitting right in here. It actually goes right inside this, and it's very complicated to get out, but that's why I'm making this video, so hopefully it's easier for some other people. So what you have to do is, it's actually this black assembly here, and the rest of this plate on the door unbolts. Let me describe how. So one thing that was right away that I could have done, that I didn't know about, somebody talked about it, and I messed up the other door. I cracked this little clip a little bit, overthinking it. To get this off, you want to remove this part of the arm, this little pink clip, or blue on the other one, I think. But you just push up. The way it's designed is, it just swivels up, push up, and it loosens it, and the arm from the motor inside here and the gears, this arm is what opens and shuts the attachment up here for all the cables and the door latching or unlatching. So you just pull that out and you're good to go for the removal of this. But again, to get to this, first you have some other steps. Okay, so I'm going to put that back on. Goes on real simple. Swing it around and you just push the clip on. And that's how to do it. I had this off before and I turned the other one around. But you just push and that clip goes right in the arm there. Again, I got this idea. I read a lot yesterday, the day before, lately, ideas from other people. You guys are awesome. So when you're in here doing this stuff, you're kind of get to some points where you get a lot of ideas with stuff from your own garage. You got your own tools. But there's some points you get to where it's like, oh my gosh, wow, I'm really glad I learned about what to do first and took some time to learn about it. There's some struggles. You figure out some things like, okay, people said, you know, get a couple of these. People used clamps in another picture. These are just $5 suction cups from the bargain bin at Ace Hardware. And what I did with this is use these to get down into this little spot here inside. You need to take out, first, there's these two, right inside there, there's a bolt. You take off these two rubber caps, one here and the other one over here. There's another bolt inside. And people were talking about, okay, don't like put your ratchet set in there and lose your ratchet. So basically what you can do, you don't need a long arm, but I just happen to have one, which is handy. But what was really a good idea was some kind of double-sided sticky tape. So the head of the bolt, so the bolt or this does not fall inside the cavity of the door, because back there behind the door, down in there, down inside, there's all this space where people said they were losing stuff. So I got myself a square piece of painter's tape. And painter's tape, as you know, is not duct tape, but it's, you know, it comes off fairly easily, but it has a good enough stick. So I just put that on the end of the 10mm socket. And then I kind of put that on there and I stuffed it in a tiny bit with my finger, just like yay so. And I just fold the edge down, do the other edge. And that makes it easier to, what you do is once you shove it in there, I'm not going to do it now, but you shove it in there to get to the bolt. And when you stick it on the bolt, it's just going to snug right around that hex bolt. And you're going to feel it in there, snug. You're going to loosen it up. It only takes a few, you know, maybe 10 turns to get it off. And then when you're done, when you know it's loose, just slowly pull it back out. You know, you're not going to hit the walls. And your bolt's going to be this bolt like this. It looks just like that in there. It's going to be stuck to the end of this, okay? Don't undo this bolt. Don't undo this bolt. They look like all the other bolts all the way around. Now you're only taking off the bolts that go around the perimeter. On the other door, there were just the same number of bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess there's 9, right? So don't do any of the middle bolts. Like all this stuff in here, skip those. Skip them. But you do need to do the window bolt inside this rubber cap here and there. Basically, this is a different metal, I think. This has some kind of a maybe a grounding wire to there. And again, this one too. So these just, you know, they have a washer. I just throw them all my, you know, bolts go right in the bin here. Not really hard to figure out. There's a little cutout for the wire down there on this black panel at the bottom, right down there. Okay, so again, once you have these bolts done and undone around the perimeter, everything is loose and ready to come off. Now right here, there's a nice little hanger. This is basically another little hole with a metal post here, and on the opposite corner over here, right there. Again, it's not. It just kind of holds it in place. All around the inside perimeter is sticky foam. So once you get all the bolts off, you're just gonna pry. You're just gonna pry, and you know, maybe get a little screwdriver to get you started if you feel like it, but just yank and pry, and you'll feel it kind of like sticky taped all the way around. And that's kind of a sealer in there, and that's just naturally gonna just peel away. However, don't pull off this until you take out the 1, 2, rubber stoppers and get the two, again, ratchet out in there, get out the 2 bolts, and they're at the base of the window. What you're going to do is you're going to see them lined up here when you have the window halfway down. These suction cups are in place, and once I get those bolts out, I take and what people learned is you push the window up, right? You get your, this little slide right up manually, and then you can take and replace your suction cups at a lower spot back down to here. And the windows, it can be up, anywhere up. It can be all the way up. It can be, a little bit of a gap, maybe a couple inches for air if you want. So that was something that I learned about, but I wasn't quite sure what people were saying. So again, push your window up and then reset these at the bottom once you have it up. And it'll hold them in place, hold your window in place while you get to working on the inside on all the other stuff. You can't take off this black panel because the base of the window, okay, it's not a rectangle at the bottom, it's kind of wavy, you'll see it. And there's the two screws there. There's basically right here is an arm mechanism, or kind of wings that cross. So the motor turns and it pushes the window up and down. So you have to slide the window up, and it'll slide it out of its little resting bar down here. Then you pull off the black panel and everything. Another little tip is while you're working is flick, lock, unlock. Do not take out, you don't need to take out the lower, just the upper bolt, because this one's not connected to bolting to the wall of the door. So just the golden ones. Okay, while you're working also, as you're getting, here's this. There's 2 screws on the end of the door and window button. So there's the automatic window button. You can just set that on there. I unplugged it and removed it. It's really simple right there. It does take a little bit of a push to get that little top clip there to unhook, but you can also push it down with a screwdriver and slide that contact connector out. And what happens is you want to actually, you get this off to get the door panel off, but then you want to put it back on temporarily, plug back in your power like this, so that you can lower, you're going to be lowering the door, the window, I mean. You're going to get that power button and lower the window. Again, you're going to lower it and look inside with these rubber window stoppers, these 2 window stoppers out. And what you do is you lower it, upper it, lower it. So you have that other golden screw inside, or bolt inside, that it's lined up straight in where you can get your ratchet to it. So again, use your power door slider. You can also, I guess, slide manually with your suction cups by hand. Just a nice little thing though, if you want to micro adjust, you can use your power switch.